At this moment, the greatest threats come from the Middle East and North Africa, where radical groups exploit grievances for their own gain. And one of those groups is ISIL, which calls itself the Islamic State. Now let's make two things clear. ISIL is not Islamic. No religion condones the killing of innocents, and the vast majority of ISIL's victims have been Muslim. And ISIL is certainly not a state.
Look, George, I think it's fair to say that over the last several years, I've had access to all the best military minds in the country and all the best foreign policy minds in the country. And I'm not running for office, and so my only interest is in success. And if I'm down in the Situation Room talking with people who have worked in these regions and have run major military operations, from the chairman of my Joint Chiefs of Staff, Joe Dunford, to individuals like General Allen, who was involved in Iraqi operations back in 2007, 2008, and they don't think it's easy, then it's probably not easy.
In the U.S., there is a growing recognition that the strategy pursued by Washington and allies in the fight against ISIL has failed.
We have to acknowledge this is a total failure. It's just a failure, and I wish it weren't so, but that's the fact.
For all the millions of dollars that the U.S. has spent to train and equip Syrian rebels, the Pentagon says it now has no more than 5 fighters on the battlefield against ISIL.
Let's not kid ourselves, that's a joke.
General John Allen, who was picked by President Obama last year to lead the coalition fight against the Islamic State, has just announced his resignation. He is reportedly frustrated with how the fight is going. The commander of a Syrian rebel group that the U.S. trained and supported, Mohammed Daher, has quit because he believes the mission is a failure. It's against this backdrop of frustration that we may be hearing a change in rhetoric in the U.S. and in Europe. Before, to all questions related to Syria, there was a simple answer. Assad must go and nobody should deal with him.
Assad needs to go.
It is just further evidence that Assad has to go.
Assad cannot be a credible partner for us.
It is time for him to go.
Now it's getting a bit more nuanced.
We have not set our position as being so ideologically pure about the need for Assad to go that we wouldn't be prepared to discuss with the Russians, Iranians and others how some kind of short transition under international supervision couldn't take place.
I don't see Assad as part of a lasting solution for Syria, but for now he definitely has to be part of the negotiations.
And we believe deeply that there has to be a political resolution here. But that political resolution can only come about through a negotiation.
Secretary of State John Kerry said the U.S. is ready for, quote-unquote, immediate discussions with Russia in order to work out an overlapping strategy to fight ISIL.
I think that Russia sees these terrorists essentially, descending on Damascus, and Russia looks to the lessons of what happened with regime change in Iraq and in Libya, and is basically saying, you know what, we cannot afford to let that happen.
Because of the failure of Washington's anti-ISIL strategy, the coalition now seems to be more open to new ideas on how to resolve the Syrian crisis. In Washington, I'm Ganesh Chakyan, RT.